Hi YouTube, today I'm going to show you what I use to draw and what's really drawing about, and if you choose drawing as your career, what you could be going into. So I'm going to start off with the tools, and the thing I have here is the kneaded eraser, which one's everybody familiar with. It's really, how do I explain it, great in case of you drawing with charcoal and smearing a lot, and this takes it off easily, especially if you're working on a canvas, because you don't want to like rub it with this kind of eraser, plastic eraser. So I recommend this if you want to use charcoal and stuff. And the other eraser is the one I just showed, the elastic eraser. And this brand is my favorite brand. And it doesn't really make much of a mess. It just makes like a one long kind of tail erase mess thing. So you don't have to wipe. You just pick up the thread kind of eraser and throw it away. And one of my favorite pencils are the 3.3 Pentel lead pencil. I love this. Like, if I want to draw detailed stuff, I use this mostly, and I use this a lot if I want to just create ideas. Like, if you're a concept artist, you could use this a lot. I highly recommend this if you like to just doodle small stuff. And I have one of my favorite markers, and this is the pigment pen marker or whatever, and it's 0.3. I have a 0.1 in my room. And this is the same company, pigment brush, and I had it over 6 months, so it doesn't work as well because it's sort of dried up, but it's good if you want to color in dark small details. You could use a Sharpie too, but Sharpie, just when you touch the paper, it just not smears, but the paper absorbs the ink a lot. So I don't know, you could use the Sharpie for the borders. I recommend that. And the other markers are these permanent markers. Like, they're the graffiti style. A lot of people use it in the graffiti, right on paper, and these are kind of expensive, I think, for markers. They cost me $3 something cents each, and I highly recommend if you're doing poster work and you want to color in. You can see the nib right here. It's pretty thick against my finger, and I got the 3 primary colors so I could blend it in. And the other marker I recommend, but it's not as expensive, it's $2, and it's a pretty good marker if you want to just make a blur for a concept drawing. You just make a blur with a lot of stuff hanging out. Then you could go with a pen or a pencil and just see what the blur looks like, and just make out parts of the blur. And you could make, I guarantee you can make something new each time you blur something out. You can create a different character or different place. And I have one of, this is my favorite brush of all. It's a Pentel brush, and you could refill it. And when you squeeze, when the tip is dry, you could squeeze a little bit, and the ink comes out. And you take a piece of paper, you smear it, and it becomes pointy and just ink in it. I love this brush. I've had it practically 5 years, and I've used it a lot. And the other pencil I recommend is the lead holder, which I don't have right now. It's in my backpack, but I'm too lazy to get it. And if you're traveling and all, you could just use a regular pencil like this. This is good, like a school pencil. Unless you're just sketching, you could use this. You don't need all the other HB 1 through 4 or whatever that crap is. You could use that for if you're doing a portrait. That's useful because if you want light, you could just use a light pencil, but you're going to see those holes that it kind of makes. It's not like a one fine line when you put it across the canvas or the paper. And you could use HB stuff with that. You could have the light pencil just go light, dark go dark. But this is just for sketching. It's very good for sketching. And the drawing business. The drawing business is like, I could say it's really tough, and depending how long you could stay up, because one, if you're a concept artist, you stay up. It's like a 24-hour job, you know. You could draw whenever you want, but the client gives you an amount that he wants. It's probably the most you would get 2 or 3 weeks, but in that order you need to make quite a few sketches, so the client will pick whichever they like. And if you're an illustrator, it's just, you just take that concept art and you make it into an illustration. But the concept art is mostly, like I said, a blur kind of thing, but you could still make up really good detail with the concept art. But what the illustrator does is they draw it, and they draw in a bunch of positions, from the back, from the side, from under, bird's eye view, I guess. And they make it into a lot of different motions, so it's easier for the illustrator to draw than the concept artist to come up with successful ideas for the client to buy. And cartoonist, well, I could say it's an easy job, depending if you have the patience for it in drawing the character over and over and over. And if you have the patience to do that, and if you don't get bored that fast, you could use that cartooning. Cartooning makes pretty good amount of money, depending which company you're working for. Let's say Family Guy, they make quite a lot of money. Disney, they make probably the most illustration cartooning money that you could probably, they are probably the highest of like making cartoons and stuff. And the other is this DreamWorks is good. And Universal uses a lot of movie illustrations, like the Terminator. They had illustrations, they had sculpting is an art, because you create the sculpture with your mind, and to sculpt something that they want, you probably need like a week to complete a head of some kind of monster, but the full body, like a scale of 2 feet, you probably need like 2 weeks to get all the detail in. And plus you have to put it in motion and show how it works, so that's gonna be kind of difficult. But like making masks and stuff, that's an art too, that's part of sculpting. But if you want to put somebody that's like aging, and you first have to put their face into some kind of silicone thing, get that, and make it a head out of that, then you start to put on a bunch of clay and make an old person, so when they put the mask on the actual character, it will look like them but more aged. So that's all I have for today, and see me next time. Subscribe, tell your friends about it if they're interested in art or they just want to see it. And thank you for watching. See you next time.